Just went to ACC football kickoff in Charlotte about 2 weeks ago, and it was made so much less fun because my friend Dave Harding, Duke Radio Network, he's got some fancy title that I don't know off the top of my head, was not there. Duke was there, but no Dave Harding, so I had a big frown on my face because I didn't see my friend Dave. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I actually got a call from the folks that organized that event. Yeah, everybody's going through budget cuts. They were looking to save like $10,000 on lunch expenses, and they couldn't have me come out there.
You are.
That's usually the whole reason I go, is because for the churros or something.
They're usually pretty good, yeah. Food at the Hilton was very good. Yeah.
I missed you. I missed the opportunity to have lunch there.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that we're talking now because that means we're just chatting with Victoria. It's despite the false fall and all that, it's football time, whether you're ready or not, and it's my favorite time of the year without question.
August 28th, so 3 weeks from today, Elon is at Wallace Wade Stadium to kick it all off. And there are, I'll let you tell me what you think the expectations are for Duke football. Duke always goes under the radar because, Duke. But 9-4 last year, probably should have won 10. That SMU game probably should have been a win. I think we can all remember circumstances around that. That should have been a win. 8 wins the year before, 9 wins the year before that. It's a pretty good run for Duke football. But tell me your thoughts going into the game against Elon.
Yeah, I think expectations should be high. I was out at practice yesterday. It is the cleanest and crispest looking group that I've seen. And by that, I mean they're organized. People are where they need to be in practice. There's high energy, not a ton of mistakes. And it feels good. And as a player, that actually does wonders and kind of it can snowball in a positive way where you're stacking these really good practices, you're building your confidence as you head into the season. And I think a lot of that comes off of what you just said, several years of achieving at a pretty high level. So the expectations internally are high, but I think externally as well, people are anticipating, gone are the days of will Duke be bowl eligible. It's now making a push for the college football playoff. It's making a push to be playing in the ACC championship game, and you can feel it during the month of August in the prep work leading up to the Elon game. And I think from there, Coach Diaz, he's very honest with the team and what he tells them. He's absolutely a player's coach in that he's got their best interest at heart. He expresses that over and over, but he's also going to shoot them straight. And I think it's about taking it one game at a time beyond that. That's very much his mantra of just, when I'll use a food example again, don't bite more than you can chew. And let's go ahead and take on what we know we need to handle during this month and prep leading up to Elon and focus on them first and foremost, because when you talk about what you have to chew on, there's a heck of a lot of challenges the rest of the way when you look at the schedule that Duke has, especially, kicking off right away after Elon with Illinois, the potential top 15, maybe top 10 team coming to Wallace Wade Stadium.
Yeah, there are high expectations for Illinois. Also, the trip to Tulane, and we'll talk about Darien Mensah going back to where he came from. Those two games, Tulane is one of those teams that has been mentioned as a group of 5, I guess group of 6, I don't know, group of 5 schools that could be pushing for a playoff spot because they obviously have high expectations there. And you mentioned Illinois. We'll talk about that in a second. One of the things that Dave Harding is joining us from the Duke Radio Network. One of the things that Coach Diaz has talked about a lot, I've talked about it with him, but I've heard it all over the place, is Duke's ability to retain players in an era where your roster turns over a lot, both ways, in and out. Duke has been able to retain a lot of their players, and he actually said that he thought that Duke as a school is in many ways the reason why the players who came here don't leave. Yes, there's football to be thought of, but they play good football. And a lot of these players have come here for more than football. I'm just curious your thoughts on is he selling something there, or is there a lot of truth to that? Because they do have good players, and we're going to talk about them.
I think he's right. And I mean, I felt this as a player. The first couple years, I was part of David Cutcliffe's first recruiting class, his first full class, started in 2009. And I bought into this promise and the expectation that we were going to turn things around. We ultimately did, finishing in 2013 with a 10-win season and a trip to the ACC championship game. But the first couple of years, we didn't. It was 3-9, 3-9. We weren't making it to bowl games. And I started to look around. This is before the transfer portal was even a thing. But, hey, what would it be like if I transferred and went closer to home or played at a place that was having immediate success? And outside of my relationship with the coaching staff and the players, which exists in any locker room, it was the pull of school and the fact that I had gotten into this prestigious institution that otherwise, I mean, let's face it, I wouldn't have had a chance of even getting in the door. Why would I walk away from that? I've put a year or 2 years of hard work into the academics here. I'm that much closer to getting an incredibly valued degree. And ultimately, I think that was the decision that helped me close the door on any transfer talks and focus on staying here and knowing that this was the place I want to be. So it's interesting in talking about this with Manny Diaz. So many coaches can view Duke's academic requirements as an obstacle. And it definitely changes your ability to recruit. And I guess the pool that you're pulling from in the recruiting world, it narrows your focus. But what he would say is, that's the narrowing of a focus actually helps you be more deliberate in who you're going after. It's not chasing every 4 and 5 star that's on the market. It's okay. We can, when you're shopping online, you can click those filters and help narrow what you're looking at, and as opposed to scrolling through hundreds of pages of what's available. And essentially that's what he's saying is a benefit at Duke. And then once you get those players in here, it helps keep you here because it's hard to get in. It is a very special place outside of the admission standards. If this is a place that I think it draws in other very like-minded or elite individuals that are dedicated to what they want to do long-term. And that helps create this environment that people want to be a part of. So it has helped. I mean, and that's going to pay off big time for Duke this year. I mean, Chandler Rivers is a perfect example of it. The corner for the Blue Devils, All-American. I mean, depending on who you talk to, has a very good chance of being a first-round draft pick after this coming season. I'm sure that, and I truly don't have specifics, but that there were conversations of other schools trying to pull him away, and Duke was able to retain him. So it's a mix between the investment from an NIL perspective, because Duke is definitely still playing in that game. They're invested in that. They acknowledge that has to be a big piece of it. But I think when you talk about the retention, it's the total comp package that our employers throw around all the time. And a big part of that is the brand and the academic pull that Duke University has.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, you mentioned Rivers. Terry Moore's another guy. Wesley Williams and other. They have legitimately good players on the defensive side of the ball. And we'll if we have time, we'll get back to that. But I want to go to quarterback because Malik Murphy was a guy they brought in a year ago. And based on what I kind of think I know, that they sort of went, I think we're going to upgrade. And they just basically encouraged him. Maybe they thought he was going to go anyway, but they sort of encouraged him to go elsewhere, and he's apparently doing well out at Oregon State. But Darien Mensah comes in from Tulane. He's big. He's got a strong arm. He's a good athlete. talk to me about how he fits. And again, we already talked about the schedule. The early part of the schedule is not easy. But how does Darien Mensah look to you?
I think it's the perfect fit. And part of that crisp, kind of high energy, focused look at practice that I talked about having seen when I've been down there comes from him. And I was blown away by the way that he engages with his teammates. You hear about a guy that, is recruited heavily. Obviously, their conversation around the NIL deals that he was offered or ended up accepting to come to Duke. He is 100% focused on the football piece and does not seem to be distracted by any of what a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid could be distracted by in this world of college football. He is going over and doing special handshakes with not just the starting offensive line, the walk-ons and the people that are kind of standing at the periphery. He comes by and says thank you to the folks that are attending practice. This guy says pro all over him, and he treats his approach to practice with a professional mindset. He's got an attention to detail. I have been very impressed by Darien Mensah, the person, and the way he handles himself. And that is outside of the fact that he's an incredibly special athlete. Great ball. And the big difference between what Mensah brings and what we saw with Malik Murphy last year is mobility and an ability to extend plays, to get out of the pocket. He can throw really well on the run. Murphy didn't have that. And I can tell you from experience as an offensive lineman, you are so much more limited. You're much more stressed out in pass blocking when you know that you kind of got this statue standing in the middle, and you've got to create really good pockets for them to be successful. Now, that is really not a knock on Murphy. He set Duke records, like we've said, successful year, 9 wins. But I think if you look at what Mensah brings, especially from the mobility standpoint and the leadership perspective, I think those 9 wins turn into 10, 11, maybe more if you had a guy like Mensah who can help extend plays and keep drives alive, and also just threaten a defense in multiple ways. This is a great pickup for Duke, and I think it's one of the in the day and age where there's so much talk about players moving around to benefit them. This is a good example of using the transfer portal if you're looking at it as a Duke fan, where you're bringing on an asset that immediately elevates your stock as a program and as a team. So Darien Mensah, a great acquisition during the offseason.
Dave Harding is joining us, Duke Radio Network. Just a couple of minutes left. So I want to do a rapid fire here. Jacquez Moore, running back. We know what we've got there. Dynamite player, explosive runner. Give me Hagens is back as well at receiver. Give me a receiver or two in 30 seconds that we're going to be focusing on all year.
Yeah, I think Cooper Barkate is a good one to look at. He's a transfer from Harvard and has really impressed me with his possession type reception skills. Really solid hands, athletic. Not necessarily going to blow you away with his athleticism, but I think he runs very good routes and is going to be a go-to target for Mensah come the fall. You mentioned Jacquez Moore. I think Peyton Jones needs to be in the mix. Several running backs in that room, but Peyton Jones impressed me last year with his ability to run the football, obviously, but we go back to like a game at Miami. He's catching passes up the seam, over defenders, kind of in lockstep. He's a good person to go to that can spread out a defense even more by getting a running back involved in the passing game. You mentioned Samir Hagens, Quayshawn Brown, or they call him Queso, very twitchy receiver, likely in the slot, going to be part of it. Andrew Anthony is pickup that they brought in from Oklahoma in the transfer portal. He'll be at receiver. So some new names mixed in with a good amount of people who understand the expectations, have been playing at Duke for a long time. I think that bodes well for what you can expect from the Duke offense. And the offensive line returns a whole lot up front. So it's I don't know. I'm encouraged by what I've seen. Obviously, on paper, you see the familiar names. You look at what Duke's brought in from a transfer portal perspective, but also just in being out there, I think the energy is right, the attention to detail is right, to where this is the team that, as long as they stay healthy, could do some really special things this fall.
Yeah, 4 of 5 returning starters on the offensive line. Let's be honest, though, Queso is a cheesy nickname. I'll just leave it at that. Dave Harding, I apologize.
I'm eating it up.
Oh, man, I can't wait to talk to you next, which is going to have to be within the next 3 weeks, since the opener is 3 weeks from today. Dave Harding, I appreciate your time. Go do what you do, and I will talk to you soon.
Will do. Appreciate you having me on.